Hi folks, Joseph Kursky here with you to chat more about career pathways in geotechnologies. So we've been talking about trends in geotechnologies, how to step into geotechnologies as a career. How do I keep current in geotechnologies? What are the perspectives, the skills, the content knowledge that I should have or develop as I move into this world, or else as I continue in perhaps a world that I've been in for years or decades? And we're right now talking about 5 key skills. I hope you've been watching along these first 3 segments. In this 4th segment, I'd like to continue with the 5 skills that I think are very important in the career pathways. And we're right now in this skill called fundamentals, understanding geographic foundations, map projections, datums, database theory, etc. So I really believe that core skills in this zone are, first of all, programmatic. We need people that know how to code. We need people that know Python, that know how to grapple with the web APIs, JavaScript, etc. We also, though, beyond the coding skills, we need people that are in geotechnologies that know how to solve problems. And when you think about it, geographic information systems was created to solve problems in the first place. It was created to be a problem-solving technology that can deal with different scales and different disciplines and different data sets that are geographic in nature and help people make wiser decisions based on that geographic data using rigorous methods. Also, spatial thinking. We talked about this earlier when we talked about the stool of geoliteracy, content knowledge, skills, and the geographic perspective. So spatial thinking is part of that geographic perspective. Are you thinking spatially when you're formulating your hypotheses and when you're grappling with different methods, not just clicking on a bunch of menus? You're really thinking about this logically and spatially as you go through your problem and attempt to grapple with it. Also, there are technical some skills here that I want to deal with here more specifically. I've mentioned Python and JavaScript and web APIs, but also know how to use and configure GIS on the desktop, in the mobile world, and in the cloud. And that's increasingly important, right? GIS has evolved into this sort of it's a platform is what it is. It's got a cloud component, it's got a mobile component, it's got a desktop component. Also spatial stats. How are you at your spatial statistics skills? If you're sort of rusty on some of that stuff, well, I encourage you to take an ESRI MOOC, for example, in spatial stats that is offered, spatial statistics, or a webinar, or some other way for you. Books, there's lots of books that you can take or that you can go through in this zone. So be an expert, develop expertise in one specific area, discipline, zone in the realm of geographic information systems or science. So let's say it's health for you, and let's say underneath health it's epidemiology. Or let's say urban planning is your sort of sphere. What about smart cities, urban greenways? There are ways that you can specialize. Now, that said, we need people that are experts in a specific discipline or field or technology. But we also don't lose your holistic perspective. Right? The geographic perspective has long been valued because it looks at and considers how do humans impact the environment? How does the environment affect humans? How do watersheds reflect the local soil chemistry or the local bedrock? How do human impacts affect water quality and river flow? So there's all kinds of interaction between the earth and people, right? And how do we position ourselves in a sustainable way on the planet so that we can thrive and that the planet can thrive? Don't lose that holistic perspective where you're looking at lots of different scales, disciplines, etc. Specialize, yes, in some areas, but also keep that holistic perspective. I encourage you. Also, additional skills. Teach yourself new procedures, workflow, and software. Keep learning. Keep pushing yourself forward. Also, work in a team. Nothing against working on your own project, but mix it up. Seek out some projects where you're actually actively working on a team, whether it's authoring a book chapter or grappling with a geographic information systems set of tools or solving a problem, etc. Okay, and then also act. I talked about this in the last video. You're asking a geographic question, you're gathering data, you're analyzing data, you're making decisions, but then act on it. It's not enough to just sort of study farmers markets, let's say, or community gardens. But let's say you say, well, that's not really supported in my community. What can I do to influence the encouragement of community gardens or farmers markets in my community? What kinds of things, what kind of doors do I have to knock on, windows to tap on, can I tap on to increase awareness, interest, etc., and build a group of community people that are interested in that particular topic. Act on your newfound knowledge and your curiosity, and also take responsibility for addressing a key need in your community with this. Because ultimately, if we're not helping each other using geographic information systems, I mean, what's the point? I love the technology and I love the career that I and you and others have built in this, but if we're not helping people, ultimately it's just sort of our own glory, and we don't want that. We want to be able to help other people with geographic information systems technology. So also, if you don't know how to do some of this stuff that I've identified on this particular screen, find some mentors. And also on the other side of it, mentor somebody else. Okay, mentor somebody else, and move it forward, spread the knowledge. Adaptability. Now here's a real picture of a, what is this? This is a doorstop in an actual high school in Colorado. What is that exactly? Well, that's an old Mac, right, from the 1980s that's now being used as a doorstop. The point I'm making here is don't get too enamored with whatever tools you've got around you, right? These tools, they're too light to be used as doorstops, but paperweights, maybe they'll be someday in the not too distant future. Don't get too enamored by the tools. It's helping people. It's grappling with key, vexing, complex, intertwined problems on our planet. Be adaptable. Use GIS in mobile environments, cloud environments, desktop environments. Your audience continues to change and expand. More and more people are interested in your story, with what problem you're solving or grappling with in their community, and how you got there, and how they can partner with you to make some change happen. So your audience changes, it expands. It's different groups, maybe outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you're talking with people that you're not normally talking with. Hey, that's a good thing. Nudges you forward and helps increase their geographic literacy, and guess what? You'll learn from that experience as well. So GIS functionality, it's changing and expanding, right? How do we grapple with new tools, new methods, new workflows, etc.? Well, again, take advantage of the many online training opportunities, face-to-face, universities, community colleges, mentors, lots of opportunity, books, etc., where you can keep learning and growing and moving forward. Embrace change. The world is changing, GIS is changing. You've got to embrace it, right? Be a lifelong learner. That's the key here. Finally, the last skill that I believe is important here is communications. Understand your audience. Understand their needs, their goals. Understand your stakeholders, patrons, customers, whoever they happen to be with the organizations that you're working with. Understand cartography. Good cartography helps you communicate. Understand about style, symbology, color ramps, etc., color theory, right? Scale, it's how to represent data in the vector and the raster world, 3D world, etc. Okay, understand that. Beef up on your cartography if it's lacking. Also understand and being able to deal with multimedia, I think, is key as you're building things like story maps. Let's look at a couple of story maps. Here's a gallery of some story maps that are in the Esri Story Maps gallery right now. And this, as you can see, there's a wide variety. Local to global, relevant, current, everyday issues, some fun things, some really vexing, problematic things. Communicate with maps and build story maps and other things to communicate your message. So here's a couple of different examples of some web mapping applications, including story maps, that I want you to think about here in this last few moments in this last video. I think this will be the last one in the series. Okay, one of them is as follows. The first one is this Age of Geotechnologies, 5 Converging Forces. Now this is a presentation that I have given in several different venues. Notice the presentation that I'm giving here is, guess what? It's a story map. It's a map journal story map. So as I go through these 5 forces, I'm guiding people through the story map. And guess what? I've even got personal stories in there of my own nudge moments that nudged me into geotechnologies. And so you can embed audio, video, sketches, text, etc. into these powerful story maps. And also, I'd like to just bring up a couple of things. Think outside the box. There are some different things that you can do to use story maps to communicate your own story, okay? So I want you to think about that. Second one I want you to think about is, this is a story map for a city park that's planned, well, actually a trail through a city park in Osceola, Iowa. So this is the trail project starting point. Look, I even found a metal slide. Pretty cool. I have a video of myself going down it too. It's one of those old-fashioned metal ones. It's pretty high up, pretty scary stuff. But look, you can embed videos inside your story maps like I've done right here. Use these technologies. Now, I didn't know that much about this trail before I arrived in the town, which was right before the Iowa GIS conference, by the way. But doing a little research, I was able to build a pretty compelling story map. Well, it's very simple, but again, the idea is if I just found out about this issue a few hours before I made this story map, so much more can you build a compelling map of using story maps and other tools in your own work, okay? Finally, this cowboy boots of Wimberley, Texas. Think about an issue or an art project or something unique about your community. And so this is a map that I made getting people interested in history of Texas. Also about Wimberley, Texas. So how do these maps get made? This is a particular map I wanted to sort of practice what I preach. So here's some credit where credit is due and links to learn more. And here's a tour of some of my favorite boots, which is an art project in Wimberley, Texas. And I've mapped them, not all of them, but I've mapped some of them as a proof of concept for, hey, there's unique stuff about your own community that you could actually map and tell the story about what makes that particular project or that issue unique about your community. And tell the story and then spread the word, give presentations. So story maps, opening up the message in geographic information systems to the wider community. It could be just the community group that you're working with. It could be the planet or anything in between, right? Your story could actually be viewed by millions of people. Final messages now for students. Number one, you need to have at least one connection with an industry professional. Now, when I was in high school, secondary school, I didn't even think about having a connection with an industry professional. Someone in my area of interest that could mentor me, that I could ask questions of, but you need to seek out those, even if you're still in secondary school. Think about the geomentors.net program. That's a way for you to connect with mentors in the geographic information systems area. But if you're in another career, there are mentor opportunities there too. So for you university students especially as well, get one connection, at least one connection, hopefully more, but with an industry professional. Also, set the bar at or above industry expectations for all of your work in and outside of school. Don't let your instructors, as good and well-intentioned as they are, set the bar for quality, right? We've all read stories about, grade inflation. You may get an A in something. That doesn't mean necessarily that you've done really high-quality work. So set the bar high and achieve it, okay? And also, as I touched on this a bit earlier, pay it forward. Help your fellow students learn the ropes. Reach back into a local high school or middle school and share with students the powerful journey and experience that you're on and that you've had. So here's a little geeky picture of myself to close. If you've got questions, comments, etc., feel free to contact me via social media, email me, call me. I'd love to have more conversations about pathways in geotechnologies. Thanks for being here with me. Take care. Bye.